stream last night. So let's see. Taking suggestions from the chat, I ended up using the New World map preset, which generates 2 continents and places all of the factions on one continent. So we ended up having a really crowded map, and that let the AIs ended up eliminating each other. Let's have a look at this. So the Draken, the Necrophage, the Vultures, and the Ardent Mages are dead. What I think happened is the... how did this work? The Vultures destroyed the Ardent Mages. Then the Necrophage destroyed the Vultures, and then the Wildwalkers destroyed the Necrophage. And somewhere along the way, I never did find out where Draken territory was, but someone eliminated them. So right now, our only neighbor is the Wildwalkers, and they did close... I think we were at peace for a little bit. Then they broke that peace. We went to Cold War. They closed their borders to us, and then we declared war on them. We've had a number of really nice engagements. What we ended up doing, we did lose our first army, but we got ourselves into a really good position based off of one of the new features in the Guardians expansion. It's one of the heroic deeds, I believe. So what we did was it this guy here? Or over here, perhaps? Activate 3 leisure resources, tactical training. We performed... yes, we got the Market Alchemist legendary deed. That was 4,000 dust, and it unlocked, or it gave us as a reward, 200 adamantium. And then we used that to pump out a really strong army of stalwarts as a defensive line. Excuse me, with dust bishops in the back to heal and deal range damage. And that ended up working really well. We took down a whole bunch of Wildwalker armies and then captured Hadao. Now, the big new feature in Guardians is the Guardians themselves. This here is a Dust Guardian. Excuse me, a bit of a scratch in my throat there. I'm building a Dust Guardian of my own. We haven't yet seen any Guardians in action, so we're going to see that soon. What I'm going to do is spend 500 or 5,426 dust to finish that guy next turn. So we'll have a Dust Guardian of our own, and we'll see what a Guardian versus Guardian fight looks like. Right now I also have... Well, we can switch these guys back over to Dust, and everyone else is on Dust too. We'll switch these guys over to Dust as well. The reason I had them all on Science was because we took over Hadao, which was originally an Ardent Mage city, and then it became a Vulture city, and then it became a Wildwalker city. I think that's the passage of owners. But now we control Hadao, and somewhere along the way, one of those AI factions built out this legendary building, which are equivalent to the Wonders in Civ 5. There can only be one on the map. And what the Museum of Auriga does is it boosts our approval, and when our empire is happy, it boosts our dust and science production as well. And so I want our empire to be happy so we can take advantage of that really nice bonus, which is why I poured a whole bunch of my citizens into working science so we could unlock bread and circuses quickly. And that might bump us up to happiness. If not, then we might consider buying some luxuries off of the marketplace. The cheapest to purchase here would be wine, and if we should definitely activate that booster before we capture any more cities. Alright, so that's the recap. I'm excited for the first Guardian battle, but we'll do that next turn. Let's see, have I already used up the movement on these guys? I do believe I have. This squad plus the Guardian should be enough to take down the Hero, 3 Rangers, and this Guardian. So, I'll just have these guys start sieging down the Wildwalker capital city. Although they do have some reinforcements here. Okay, we'll keep our army bunched up and just turn the turn over right now. And John HD Gaming, Master KY Walker, and Igor Kotru, welcome to the chat. Lowbones and Frobnik8. I think you guys were in here while I was eating my breakfast, so definitely a big thanks to you guys for being patient while I got my hunger out of the way. As for the next tech, some of the extractors might be a good idea. All of these resources I got either from quests or directly purchasing off the marketplace. We needed to do those purchases because we didn't have the strategic resources to build out the Guardian here. But do I have any strategic resources in my current territory? I do have a little glass steel in whatever the mountains covering up the full text here, Karandar, but I don't have anything else. So there's some dyes here, a little titanium, but none of the advanced resources. So I'm not going to be in a rush to build up the smelting station to get those extractors online. Let's see, additional trade routes, that'll help with our dust and our rush buying. We'll get that going. And as for the Empire plan, we do have enough influence to unlock us all the way to +2 science per district. I don't know if that's worthwhile though. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 districts, so that's +22 science, which isn't bad, but is it worth that much influence? I don't know if it is. I think I would rather have more dust for rush buying, in which case, let's roll down here and reduce our military upkeep. Alright, that seems like a reasonable plan for now. Master Crywalker, we are playing on a random map. It was using the map script, I think it's called New World. Basically it makes 2 continents with all of the factions on one continent, and you need to embark to settle the other continent should you wish to. Okay, so what we're going to do is attack the Titan, but let's take care of all of this other housekeeping first. We did recently adopt, or what is this called? Assimilate the Kanzanji. So I might want to build one of those guys out, especially if we're going to be fighting the Necrophage. One of the stream viewers last night was saying how they really liked the exhaustion ability that we have on our Dust Bishops, which weakens defense, and then combo that with some Chain Lightning. It's really good at taking down large blobs of units. So I don't have enough strategic resources to make really powerful Kanzanji. They're not going to be able to use any of the special items, so... Well, I don't have anything else that I'd rather build out. We have enough dust to buy a few more citizens and then put out a Borough Street. But yes, before we get into the battle, I want to upgrade my Kanzanji here. We'll just give him all of the stuff that doesn't require strategic resources. So do I want the claws? That's +24 attack and +26 damage with a sweep strike back of 4 versus ranged Slayer. Ranged Slayer would definitely be good versus the Wildwalkers, but I think I'm going to be done with my fight with them soon. Over this way, we deal more damage overall. but I think I want the higher attack value. So let's grab Range Slayer. We can switch that over if the composition of the Necrophage makes more sense to use the claws, but we'll use that, and we'll go and gear him up with all of the tier 3 regular armor here, iron armor. And then as for items, Sharp Sense, most definitely. And then since we are a melee unit, we've got 6 movement. I don't know if we need to boost that up with improved movement here. Low Bones asks what Sweep Strike Back is. It's I'll swap that over so we can read the tooltip. It's a counterattack that does damage to all adjacent enemy units. So if our Kanzanji unit is attacked, his first counter will be to do a sweep of damage to every adjacent enemy unit, which is pretty nice. But we are going to be facing a bunch of ranged units, so the Range Slayer 4, which is plus 50% damage to ranged and support units, is what I'm going to go with here. And then I can also give him a few of these items that can boost his ability. We've already given him this legendary ring, which gives him Sharp Sense 3, which increases his defense versus range attacks by 40%. But I don't know if I want to also up his movement. So giving him 10 movement seems like a bit of overkill, but there might be situations where we need that. It does increase his production cost by over 100 production, so maybe we'll just... 6 movement is probably enough. Let's go and apply that profile. And yeah, we're gonna go and build out a couple of those guys. So I'm playing the Broken Lord faction, which is unusual in that it really favors dust production, and that's why our natural production time on this unit is so long. And that's even with the unit production modifier that we have from our Empire plan. So let's edit that. We have plus 20% production on military units, but because our city's natural production is pretty low, plus I have no citizens working production, it's going to take a long time to build this guy out normally. I'd rather just buy him if I need him right away. Having all of my citizens on dust gives me more flexibility. I can rush buy stuff that I need, and as the Broken Lords, I need that dust to heal my units and buy new citizens. So that's our setup right now. Everything else looks good. Let's get this Guardian fight going. We've got our own Guardian. He's going to come in as reinforcements, and we'll have our main hero army attack the first loyal might of Auriga. That's one of the Wildwalker armies. Alright, let's do that. Well, first let's do a mouse over. The battle area is usually indicative of the range that we can draw reinforcements from. So based on this battle area, we'll be able to draw in our 2 other armies, our own Guardian plus the 6 unit army that's currently in Hadao, plus militia from both those cities. So let's get that started. We'll go over, not to the village. We go over this way. What does the battle area look like? It still encompasses all the reinforcements I want. So let's fight. Alright, so reinforcements. We've got our first Truth Vanguard. We've got the Guardian himself. And then the city. Okay, so we don't need this militia. That's just going to crowd things out. In fact, I want to make sure the Guardian actually shows up, so maybe we'll leave this guy behind as well. No, I want to give this hero... So this hero is on governor duty, so I want to give him a little extra experience. We'll let him join the fight. That seems good. I'm going to have my people set to default hold position, just so that the stalwart line will be nice and defensive, and I can switch them over to offensive manually later, but everything else seems good. Let's start my very first Guardian fight. This is exciting. I have no idea what all of these abilities do. Mind control sounds self-explanatory, but to see them in action. Alright, so those of you who haven't seen Endless Legend before, the first step is setting up your units for combat. I'm going to want a line of them. You do get a combat bonus from being within a forest and also from high ground. These flags are where my reinforcements will appear. Normally you only have 2 reinforcement slots, so more distant armies will appear piecemeal, but I did unlock a hero skill that lets me have 4 reinforcement flags. So we're going to get our reinforcements in here a lot faster than we otherwise would. So let's make ourselves a line of stalwarts, and we'll bring our hero to the front too. Put the dust bishops in the back, and that looks like a fine starting setup. How much movement does the Guardian have? Speed 2. He is a ranged attacker, and he does have more initiative. He's going to go first. I'm worried about the mind control, but that seems like a good setup, as good of a setup as any. We'll have the stalwarts rush forward to here perhaps, and rush forward with the dust bishops as well. Also, one thing note that we did here is we attacked the Guardian, which means that the reinforcing army from the Wild Walkers is going to appear more slowly. Our Guardian just appeared. We'll set him to aggression, and do I want him to go and attack the other Guardian? If we can, we'll definitely go and do that. Now, since we do have numerical superiority, I probably just should have had these guys on aggression, but I was really worried about what that Guardian would do. But let's switch everyone over to aggressive stance. You don't control your units directly, you just sort of set up where they are. You can tell them who to shoot, but you and your opponent declare these orders and attack stances simultaneously, which is interesting in multiplayer, and then it plays out. The units moving based on their initiative, that sets this turn order along the top, and then your orders, some of the orders you issue, based on what the other units do, might no longer be valid, and then that's why you need to set the stance, whether you want them to seek out enemies and destroy them, or just stay in place if their current orders are no longer valid. So it's a nice system. Sometimes it can be frustrating if your units don't do exactly what you want them to, and having low initiative can make it really difficult to plan, because by the time your units go, the enemy units have moved, and then the orders that you've issued to your units are no longer valid. So I can see that can be frustrating depending on the level of control you want. So far, the Guardians haven't done anything too fancy. I do have my Guardians set to aggressive stance. Helllion123, welcome to the stream. My hero does provide my army with extra defense, so a lot of the enemy attacks aren't dealing damage to us. We're getting successful defensive rolls off. These units here are dust bishops. They deal damage and heal adjacent enemy units, and so they're really nice to have. Let's see our Titan in action again. So the enemy Titan dealt 45 damage to our stalwarts, not really that scary. Our Titan dealt 96 damage to that Dakari Ranger. Not necessarily more powerful than a regular unit. I don't know if he was worth 5,000 dusts to rush complete, but since I've never used them before, I definitely want to see how they perform. The problem might also be that I didn't have enough of the high-tier strategic resources. So he's actually geared with primarily glass, steel, and titanium. Our Guardian might be stronger if we geared him up with better stuff. So that fight's done. We got a bunch of experience on our units, but no new levels on our heroes. Okay, so we've taken care of all of those Wildwalker units. I think I'm going to leave the Wildwalker cities here. I'd rather head over towards their capital and then start knocking down the Necrophage. So we'll take down the Wildwalker capital and then see if they'll take peace. And we'll go and move down over this way. Hellion says that they haven't been to one of my streams since my Civ Beyond Earth multiplayer game, and that was quite some time ago, so welcome back. Hope you enjoy this Endless Legend stream. And as for this guy, is he within range to contribute to the city's siege? If I move over one tile, I can contribute to that. We are knocking down the fortification points at Sodaltan at minus 76 per turn. The fortification points add extra hit points to the defender. And once you wear down all the fortification points, you can start dealing damage directly to the defending units. Alright, but when we're attacked, rather than when we attack the city ourselves, the fortification points don't apply. So this is the best case scenario. Assuming we wear down this army easily, that'll also destroy the reinforcements from the city, and then we'll be able to take the city without much trouble. So in this case, I definitely want to be on hold position. This fight is going to be a little tougher than our last fight. And unfortunately, I don't have the Guardian within range, so we're not going to see him fight. He might be most beneficial just for his shared wisdom trait, which boosts our morale as well, and it might boost our experience, I think. It's been 6 months since I've played Endless Legends, so I definitely don't remember what all of the abilities do. So hold position, manual, ready, fight. Killer Piggy. I'm doing the giveaway 2.5 hours from now at noon Eastern Daylight Time. So not to worry about that. One lucky stream viewer will get a copy of the Guardians expansion. So you do need the base game Endless Legend to use that expansion, so if you don't have it and you're not planning to acquire a copy of Endless Legend for yourselves, then probably don't enter the contest, which again is going to be a few hours from now. 2.5 hours to be precise. Alright, so we've got our 4 stalwarts. Oh, they attacked our non-hero army. This could make things slightly more difficult. We only have the 2 reinforcement flags instead of the 4 since it's not our hero army. So the rest of our units are going to trickle in more slowly. Now, fortunately, they do have a lot of forests for extra defense. They've got their city itself, which gives them a morale boost. So even though they forego their fortification points because they initiated the battle, they got to choose which of our armies to attack, and they intelligently chose our weaker army. But we are going to get reinforcements in, so hopefully we'll be able to overcome this without too much difficulty. Let's go and move these guys down here. We'll set our hero. How much movement does he have? He needs more speed. I'm going to have to give him a better trinket if possible. We'll set him to aggressive stance, but the reinforcements are going to trickle in really slowly. And our hero has been slowed. It's going to take him even longer to get to the front lines. But we've cleared both of the reinforcement flag slots, so we're going to get another 2 reinforcements next turn. Our dust bishops are healing up these units, which is what we want to see. This guy wants to move forward, form a defensive line to protect the dust bishops. This guy wants to move to here, and this dust bishop to here. That seems reasonable. Or maybe over into our city where we get a morale boost. Alright, let's move over to there. And launch. Matter 0, this is a single player game on impossible difficulty. Nightbot should be in the channel, so I think I updated the game command. There we go, excellent. I would like to see how the Guardians expansion changes multiplayer, but I don't know when I'll have time to fit a multiplayer game in. I will test out Endless Legend Guardians multiplayer at some point, but I can't promise when. I do have a lot of work to do too, so after today's stream I'm going to go into the lab and work for probably 4 or 5 hours. Alright, meanwhile, this engagement is going quite well. The stalwarts, this guy can go into aggressive stance, and we'll move the dust bishop out of the reinforcement slot and move this guy over to here. Ooh, oh man, we actually lost a dust bishop here, and that was one of our more powerful dust bishops, the ones that we've decked out with adamantium weapons and armor, and I don't have any adamantium extractors, so that guy's going to be hard to replace. But we shouldn't complain, we're definitely dealing many more casualties than we're taking. Okay, militia are coming in as reinforcements. We'll set these guys to aggressive. And then as for our positioning, all of this does seem fine. We've taken care of all of the walkers. There's some in the back. Okay, we'll set everyone else to... well, we'll set the front line to aggressive. And then, do I want to advance with some of the dust bishops as well? Yeah, if the stalwarts are going to be advancing, we'll want the dust bishops advancing as well. Looks like our hero might be taken down. So this particular army is dealing a lot more damage than the last Wild Walker army we faced. These units probably got upgraded with better gear. They're also slightly higher level, so there are definitely a lot of RPG elements to this 4X game. Each of your units can gain experience, and that buffs all of their stats, and you can upgrade their weapons, armor, and items. And so this, even though the unit classes are the same as the last Wild Walker army we faced, these guys are a little stronger. Alright, for whatever reason, all of our units here want to target the same unit. They'll adjust once that unit is destroyed. But we'll set all of these guys over to aggressive stance and launch. If anyone knows a way for me to change my global attack stance within the battle sequence, let me know, because that would be pretty convenient. I like starting off on hold position, and then once it looks like we've got everything under control, flipping everyone over to aggressive stance. But it looks like I have to do that individually. Okay, so everyone who needs to be on aggressive is on aggressive. I will have this guy go and target that walker if we can get within range, just to make sure he gets within range to actually deal damage to these straggling units. Alright, and since the wild walkers attacked us, we'll still have our action point, which means we'll be able to go and attack the city as well, assuming we kill all of their units. If they still have some defenders, then I might hold off. Alright, they only have the one walker left, so attacking here should be fine. We've gained 68 experience points, which is considerable, and let's go and lead the attack with our main hero. We'll take the city, and then we'll see if we can go and make peace. Ah, there's a cultist unit wandering around here, a guardian unit. I wonder if that guy is enough to take a city on his own. I wouldn't think so, but we'll see. Alright, let's go and take Sodaltan. Attack. Just the one Tenny Walker. We could go and auto that since it's well, let's do that manually just because I want to show you what the fortification points do. So ready fight on offensive should be fine. So the fortification points add additional hit points on top of the regular hit points. So that's this little gray notch here, I do believe. But we shouldn't have too much trouble dealing with that. Let's place all of our stalwarts right up against the walker. And then with our dust bishops as backup, plus the hero out in front too, and launch. Right, so the fortification points was actually that lighter gray bar on top, and you can see that our first set of attacks only wore down his fortification points before we started dealing damage directly to the hit points. But still, a huge army against one unit, fortification points aren't going to be relevant. So there's a bunch of experience there. Dismiss this. And we've got Sodaltan. We've captured another Wildwalker city. And unlike in Civ, capturing a city, there's no, well, there's a short period of rebellion, but you don't lose any of the citizens, and all of the buildings that were there remain as well. So we get a palace, which is pretty cool, a Founders Memorial. Normally you can only have one palace and Founders Memorial, but because this is a former capital, we get the huge boosts from that. They've got all of the Tier 1 buildings, some nice Tier 2 buildings, the Alchemy Workshop, the Imperial Kennel gives more fortification points, Advanced Alchemy Lab, so definitely some strong buildings that we don't have up ourselves, and then all of these extractors, well, the Titanium and Wine. Not the most exciting of extractors, a whole bunch of watchtowers too, which will let us keep better tabs on the surrounding regions. So definitely a good city to have. I'm going to keep on having my people work dust. Working science might not be bad either. Alright, let's have these guys work science, since that's a plus 12 in this city, versus our other cities, plus 4. Can I tab through cities? Yes I can. Plus 7 and plus 9. So we can have Sodaltan be specialized as our science city. And as for production, let's go and build out that Empire Mint. That'll be fine. Okay, and I think that's it for what I want to do with the Wildwalkers. Is this the Necrophage, or is this also Wildwalker territory? Oh, that's right, the Wildwalkers eliminated the Necrophage. So that means the only two civs left... oh, there are 3 civs left, we just haven't met the roving clans yet, are the cultists, who are trusting, strangely enough, and the wild walkers. And if I want to get over to this territory, it does look like I can't take peace with the wild walkers just yet, although I do want to strengthen my armies, so let's get another dust bishop, or maybe one of these. We'll try one of these demons. Let's rush by him here, and then he can join the army next turn. We'll have all of these guys advance over in this direction. Search that. Got a little Hyperium, which is very nice. Killer Piggy asks how much of this game I'll stream in the future. Endless Legend Civ Offworld. And I don't think I ever mentioned playing Kerbal Space Program. It looks really interesting, but there's probably quite the learning curve. So until I have a lot of free time, I won't be playing that. I'm definitely going to be continuing with my Civ DD stream, at least until that's done. And then after that, I did promise a Civ multi-session multiplayer game as well. But as for what other games I'm going to be fitting in, I'm not sure at the moment. And it's definitely going to be influenced by what my viewers want to see. So feel free to voice your opinions, but don't feel disappointed if I completely ignore you. But that looks like the turn. It was a very productive turn. We killed a lot of Wild Walker units and took their capital. Frobnik 8 gives us some very nice information here, that there's no carryover of damage between fortification points and hit points. So all of the fortification points are destroyed, and if, say, you're dealing 100 damage and you have 5 fortification points left, from what Frobnik is saying, those 5 fortification points will protect you from the 100, and it won't you won't take any hit point damage until the next attack, which does sound pretty powerful. So that's good to know. Alright, so the Wild Walkers are still sending out little squadrons to make us trouble. Let's go and join this guy up with our army here. Meanwhile, these guys will wander over to, say, here. Group that army up and explore these ruins. Doesn't take any movement points. We got some blood crystal. So that's nice. We don't have the tech to even... Oh wait, that's a luxury resource. Okay, so I did get bread and circuses. That only gets me up to 50%. If I activated a blood crystal, that's another 10% up to 60. I think happy is 70%. So we're not going to be reaping the benefits from the Museum of Auriga. Do I have another tech that could get me some more happiness? Building out more of the sewer systems would be good. Got bread and circuses. Let's look for the approval icon, the little thumbs up. Alright, so not until Era 4 will we be able to get any approval boosting. Oh, well, actually no, there's no approval boosting techs in Era 4. Era 5, there are 3 approval boosting techs: State Approved Theater, Imperial News Network, and Arts Council. So we're just going to have to work on getting some more luxuries online. We could buy them if I'm desperate to see the boost there. We've got plenty of dust. Alright, let's see about buying some luxury resources. We could buy some wine. That would cost us 279. Wine gives the plus 30% approval boost, so that's exactly what we want. Also happened to be the cheapest, which I appreciate. Wait, did I not actually buy the wine? Luxuries? Didn't I buy a whole bunch of wine? Did I sell wine instead? Luxury resources, wine, yes. Booster costs 25. Okay, so I just need to buy another 10. I just didn't have enough to activate the booster. Luxuries, wine. We've driven up the price of wine. It's now more expensive, but we do have the dust to spare. So we'll buy that, activate the booster here. So let's see right now, when we're content, there are no effects. If we activate the wine booster, we're up to 69%, we are happy, and we get plus 15%. But what about the museum? We're supposed to be getting plus 20%. It's possible that the legendary buildings only grant their bonuses to the original builders. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But maybe we need to get even more happy here. Let's see. We are at war, we may as well use the blood crystal. So now, no, it's still plus 15% dust and 15% science. So I'm not sure, maybe the tooltip doesn't upgrade and we are receiving the boost from the museum. Or maybe it only applies to this city. Let's mouse over here. Plus 25.4 from happy. Versus, say, a city of similar size. So here we're making 128, or 138 rather, 350. So 19 from happy, so that's 10%, versus here, the happy is a little higher than 10%, but not by much. I don't know, where would the boost from this legendary building actually apply to us? Oh well, we'll leave that as is. And we're gonna go and attack this Wildwalker army. We'll be on hold. Well, they're all walkers, fine. Offensive, ready, fight. Have all the stalwarts as far forward as possible, which is exactly what they're doing.